Hello, and welcome to my channel, Knotty Gnome Crafts. My name is Sarah, and you can find me as Knotty Gnome on Instagram. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me today, and it's time for another Friday Sews, where we chit-chat about what's been going on in my week of sewing. But before we get started, I'm just going to tell you briefly what I'm wearing. This is the Swift River cardigan by Mary Annarella, and I'm wearing a French Navy Stellan tee underneath the So Over It Sienna top and skirt. And I will insert a photo here of the whole outfit so you can see what it looks like in full. So let's chat about what I did last week. So the first thing that I finished was the Simplicity, or actually the only thing that I finished, was Simplicity 9267 skirt. And I made View A, which is the long version. And I used a rayon Atelier Jupe fabric that I bought from Style Maker Fabrics. I made this size 8, and I did not do any fit alterations, but I did shorten the skirt by 3 inches, and that made it ankle length on me. I'm 4'9", and so everything is always super long. But here is the skirt. It's so flowy. I really love how this turned out. I will say that I was having a little bit of a cranky time when I was sewing with this fabric because it's a rayon. I used starch, but it was still very slippery, and it was quite an expensive fabric. And so sometimes when you buy expensive fabrics, they just, they behave really nicely. And sometimes you buy really expensive fabrics and they don't. So this is one of the ones that didn't, and it was pretty frustrating to work with. But I think what you're getting for the price is this absolutely gorgeous design. And the fabric is lovely to wear. It just wasn't fun to sew with. But I managed to do it, and I will insert some pictures of me wearing the skirt. And I just really love it. It's gonna be the perfect summer skirt. And this pattern is actually excellent. If you are looking for a button front skirt with pockets, this one's really good. I could see myself making this in so many different fabric types, like linen or cotton, or even like a lightweight corduroy for fall. I think that would be really great. And there's a variety of lengths also. So I just think that this is like a staple pattern to have in your wardrobe if you like that style. I do highly recommend Simplicity 9267. So the next thing that I started working on after I finished the skirt is I am still absolutely obsessed with trying to make pants and working on my pants fitting journey. So I had gone to Joann's and picked up a few patterns that were on sale, and I picked up Simplicity 9146, which is a very simple pair of elastic waist pants. The only thing that makes them a little bit different is they have this side panel here that you can use as a contrast. And I just really liked the pants on the envelope, and I happen to have a linen rayon stripe in my stash that I had purchased to make a dress from Joann, and I decided to just repurpose it and make the pants instead because, as I said, I'm obsessed right now with trying to make pants. So I cut out the size 10, and I did make a muslin. I'm hopefully going to be inserting some photos and maybe a little bit of footage of me in the muslin. So the muslin it was an organic cotton bed sheet, so it's a little bit stiffer than the my fashion fabric. So when I made some adjustments before I made my muslin, and actually I did try to film an explanation of how I use my L-shaped ruler. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert that here. So I did a very poor job last week of explaining how I use my L-shaped ruler, so I thought I would just quickly show you what I did with these pants that I am working on, which is Simplicity 9146. And just so you're aware, there is a side panel here. So we're gonna look at the back piece, and if it looks a little bit narrow, it's because this side piece does take up some of the extra width. So it's a little bit narrower than a normal pants pattern would be, just for FYI. Okay, so now I'm not gonna go into the details of how to actually mark your ruler because I'm gonna just link to the tutorial from Win Michelle, which explains it very clearly. But I do just have my L-shaped ruler here, so you can see that. And in order to use the ruler, you're gonna need a few things on your pattern piece. So this pattern helpfully already has it, but you're gonna need the crotch line. And if it's not on here, you would just find like the crotch point and then draw a line perpendicular all the way across to the grain line. And then you're also going to need, we're working with the back piece right now, but you're gonna do both the back and the front. And you're gonna need to know where your center back and your center front line is. So that's just, you know, in this pattern, it's 5/8 inch is in from the seam allowance. So you're gonna use your ruler here, and I'm making size 10. So I'm gonna line up the bottom part of the ruler with the crotch line, and then slide this over so that the tall part meets the seam line. Oh, I did forget one thing actually. So I'm not gonna get it out, but you in order to properly judge the rise, you're gonna want to add, if you have a yoke or a waistband, you need to add that piece up here so you actually know what the full height of your rise is. So I forgot to do that. Pretend that there's a waistband piece here. So yeah, so I'm just gonna line this up as I had stated with the crotch line and where the seam allowance is. Sorry, it's really hard to do this one-handed. And so I've already modified this pattern, but what you would want to look at is, look at the height up here. This red line here is where my natural waist is. And so if I had the waistband piece on here, it does a little bit higher than this line. So that's how I know that the rise is going to be long enough for me in the back. And you're going to want to do this for both the back and the front. And luckily on this pattern, I did not have to alter the rise. So that is actually fine. And then down here at the crotch point, again, I've already modified this, but you can see this little strip here. I had to add in 1 5/8 of an inch in order to meet my crotch point. So my crotch point now is just, you know, there's a 5/8 inch seam allowance. It meets my crotch point. So having had to extend this much length on the pattern piece, I did it in 2 sections on the back because it was such a wide amount that I had to extend. But I just removed that extra width that I had added over here, and I took it out of the pants here on these 2 spots so that the total width of the hip remains the same, but I have the extra room to wrap around my leg where I need it over here. And you are going to do the same thing on the front as you do on the back. And yeah, that's how I use my L-shaped ruler. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about it, feel free to leave them in the comments. Okay, so I made the adjustments to the pattern. I sewed up the muslin in the organic cotton bed sheet. And when I put it on, the crotch fit seemed pretty good, but overall, I would say the pants seemed a little bit big and baggy, but I was thinking that I was just gonna go ahead and leave it for this first run because the cotton is a little bit thicker and stiffer than the linen rayon blend I was using. And my hope is that it won't look too big when on the actual pants. I don't actually know that yet because I haven't finished them. I am waiting for some elastic to come in the mail. So I can't tell you for sure whether that adjustment was correct or not, but I can show you what I've got right now. And then hopefully later today, my elastic is supposed to arrive and I'll be able to finish the pants. So these are my pants. They are, like I said, it's a linen rayon blend, and then there's like a little bit of sparkle running through it, which I just think is super cute. And I did some stripe play, so I did this contrasting from the rest of the pants. And then of course there's the stripe direction going down the pants this way. I looked this up on Instagram, and not a ton of people have made these pants, but there was another person who made it with solids. So it looked like the side panel was like a contrast. It almost looked like a racing stripe, which I thought was a really cool idea. So if I do like these pants, I might make another pair at some point. And so the funny thing about these pants is I cannot remember the last time that I owned patterned pants. Like it might have been when I was in my 20s. Because I'm not like anti-pattern pants, but I just never gravitate towards them, or maybe it's just because when I was buying clothes, I couldn't find any in stores that I liked that actually fit me. I mean, that's probably likely. But yeah, I just never wear patterned pants. I was a little bit unsure, even though I thought that they looked cute on the envelope, I wasn't sure if I would actually wear them or not. But once I made these, and I did kind of try them on even without the elastic, I just kind of like put them on and kind of held them up to see what they looked like. And I absolutely love them. I can't wait to finish these. So again, I don't know for sure what the final look is going to be until I put the elastic in and get them hemmed, but I'm making good progress with my pants journey. And so that is what I'm currently working on. So before I move into what I'm going to work on next week, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on my pants fitting journey and how difficult it's been for me, and how I've sort of decided to approach it this time moving forward. So initially, I've been trying to make pants fit for as long as I've been sewing, which is probably about over 15 years now. And I can't find ready-to-wear pants that fit me well either. But earlier on in my journey, I was kind of obsessed with making jeans. So I made things like, I made the Bourbon jeans a couple times, I made the ginger jeans, and I'm not worried about the construction part. Like, I can construct a pair of jeans without difficulty, but the fit was always so challenging. And I realize now, looking back on it, that I shouldn't have started with jeans, or specifically with the ginger jeans, which are a very fitted pair of jeans, because I have so many fit issues that I was trying to deal with all at once. So just to kind of quickly give you a little rundown of all the things that I have to adjust in a skinny pair of pants. I have a longer than average rise. Like, even in ready to wear, if I buy high-waisted pants, they would come in the mail and I'd put them on and they would hit like below my belly button, and I like my pants to sit like above my belly button. And I'd be like, I thought they said they were high rise. And so I'd have to send them back and order like ultra high rise or super high rise or whatever. So I have a long rise. I also don't have a very dramatic curve between my waist and my hip. It's pretty straight. So I actually need to make a smaller size in my waist so that there's negative ease. Because if I don't do that, if I made pants that were supposed to fit my waist measurement, they would just fall down because I don't have enough hip to keep them up. So that's another challenge. We've already touched on some of my crotch fitting issues, that my full hip is very low and it's all in my rear end section and that sticks out more. So I got that issue. I have pretty muscular legs, and so my thighs and my calves often need adjustments. And on top of all of those things, I'm 4'9". So everything has to be shortened pretty dramatically. So if you can think about it, trying to make something like the ginger jeans that are very fitted to the body, I was trying to make, 8 to 10 adjustments all in one pair of pants at the same time. And of course I was getting frustrated and confused because you know that when you make one adjustment, it often affects everything else. And so this time around, because I have so many pants fitting challenges, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start easy. And like, even though I normally don't wear elastic waist pants, I'm like, I'm just gonna make a bunch of elastic waist pants, a little bit easier to fit in the waist, and like just start trying to fit one thing at a time. So like, I started with my crotch shape. So I'm working on, I did the shorts last week and I did these elastic waist pants. And then probably the next thing I'm gonna move into is still elastic waist pants, but like maybe a little bit more fitted. So I'm gonna have to worry about fitting my calves. And then I'll move on to non-elastic waist, do like a more fitted pair of pants with a waistband, but still with like wide or straight legs, so I don't have to worry about the legs. And then basically the very last part of my fitting journey will be skinny jeans, because hopefully by the time I get to that point this time around, I will have made all of those adjustments along the way and figured out what I need to do, and it won't be as daunting of a task when I get to that. So that's kind of my plan. I don't have a timeline. Like, basically I operate according to what I feel like doing, and right now I'm really obsessed with it, so I'm doing a lot of pants sewing, but I'm sure that at some point I'm gonna get sick of it and want to sew dresses or something. And so yeah, it's not like I need all these pants, but it will be nice to like just have a path that I can move forward on until I end up with my perfect pants that fit, because that would be absolutely amazing. I basically never had that my entire life. So that is what my pants fitting plan. So the next thing that I'm gonna sew for next week is Paper Cut Patterns was having a sale. So I bought the Palisade pants, which are a high-waisted elastic waist pants, and they have like this cool crisscross pocket detail. And they are a little bit more slim fit in the legs. So that's kind of like the next step in my evolution. I am planning to ultimately use the Brussels washer linen. It's a linen rayon blend in navy that I got from Style Maker Fabrics. And I want to make a matching top so that it looks like a faux jumpsuit. So those are going to be the next things in my plans. And yeah, I think that's all that I have for sewing this week. So I just have a little bit of knitting to share with you. Since the last time we spoke, I actually finished my first opal sock. And I mean, this isn't like a snafu or anything, but like when I started these socks, it's self-striping yarn. And so I said when I cast on that I just wasn't gonna worry about like matching up the stripe repeat or making matching socks. Like I'm just gonna let the yarn do what it does and not worry about it. But on another level, I'm just a very detail oriented and somewhat obsessive personality. And so when these are toe up, and so when I made the heel and I'm ready to start doing the leg, I just couldn't make myself interrupt the stripe repeat on the foot, because you do this part back and forth and then you start knitting in the round again. And if you just go with wherever you were in the sequence here, it's going to be off on the front of the foot. And my OCD self just couldn't handle that. So I did end up breaking the yarn and kind of just winding some yarn off so that the stripe repeat like goes in the correct order up the leg of the sock. So I finished that sock and then I cast on for the second. And similarly, I said I wasn't going to make them match, but then at the last minute, I decided I couldn't handle them not matching. So I am actually probably about a row off, but it's not that bad. So yeah, I'm gonna have my second sock match the first, and that is where I'm at with my knitting progress. So my shout out this week goes to Michelle Sews again. I think her channel is relatively new and she calls herself an advanced beginner sewist, but she's been making so many beautiful things lately, and I think that she's definitely progressing her inner skills really fast. She just made this really beautiful Forget Me Not Patterns April dress that has, and she did a really great job with the curved seams and these really bright, fun colors. We don't have the same taste as far as fabrics goes. She's much more of a bold, bright fabric kind of person, but I kind of secretly wish that I was one of those people. So I always like looking at the patterns that she picks and the fabrics that she chooses. She just seems like a really nice, fun person in her videos. And so I highly recommend checking out her channel if you get a chance. So I will put her channel link in the description box below. So I think I did promise a pattern haul addition to this Friday Sews video, but basically what has happened is I've purchased too many patterns to put it in a Friday Sews. So I am going to be bringing you a pattern haul video probably next week or maybe the week after, because I picked up some patterns from Joann's and I just found out that McCall's is going on sale for $1.99 at Joann's this weekend. So I think I'm gonna go back and get some McCall's. And then so many indies were having sales for Me Made May that I picked up some indie patterns. So yeah, anyway, you have that to look forward to. Probably next week is a pattern haul video. So that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my videos, and I will see you next time.